have somebody from like Poland, somebody from Russia, somebody from Latin America, and somebody like Arab. Is all over, and they can connect. They can literally work together side by side. They can totally connect. The problem happens is when they really get on. This version of them really gets on, but their family values and their family backgrounds and their norms and values are not always in line. So this version, the Dubai version of us, can really connect. But our families and our backgrounds and our norms and values are going to be different, especially when we go to raise kids. So in this bubble, we're fantastic. We can go to the same places for dinner. We know exactly where to go for coffee in the mornings. We get on. But how would we handle breakups? How would we handle child rearing? What would we do if we had to co-parent and divorce? How would we divide finances? Those things are very different, especially culturally and religiously. They can be super, super different. So, you've got people that come from an environment where it's 50-50. You've got other people that come from a Muslim background and stuff. So it's very, very difficult. What I would say is think about what values mean the most to you in life, whether they're your spiritual values, whether it's your academic values, whether lifestyle values, whatever values you mean the most to you. Whatever values mean the most to you, try not to compromise on them too much, because that will always come back to you. And what I mean, look, there are people that come from the same religion, but they've got opposite values.
100%.
And this is a problem that a lot of Muslim women and men, but a lot of Muslim men and women have. And I'm saying this as a Muslim myself. And what happens with like people from Muslim backgrounds, they'll meet other Muslims and think you're more liberal than a non-Muslim. Like you're doing so much more than a non-Muslim. And they'll meet a non-Muslim.
Or just character-wise.
Character-wise. And then you'll meet a non-Muslim who's more in line with the religion than the actual. So it leaves them in a really tricky position. But I would just say it just that depends on your relationship with God. Do you feel like you can like there's some rules that are just there? Like I admit, even me, I know I don't wear hijab. I know the rule is there. I don't ever kid myself into thinking I'm not sinning. I know I'm sinning, and I'm doing it publicly and with millions of views. God forbid. Forgive me, but I know I am.
You're a good person. It's okay.
I don't know. He knows me better. So what I would say is, as much as I know it's a sin, I don't deny it's a sin. I'm very aware it's a sin. I'm very aware, so I can alter my forgiveness accordingly. I can monitor my repentance accordingly. The best thing is not to go into denial, but go into, are you okay with this level of sin or this level of thing? And if you're okay with it and you think you can repair it, perfectly fine. But if you go into denial and stuff, you'll live in an internal conflict.
100%.
You will live in an internal conflict, because things will pop up that remind you it's a sin and you're trying to ignore it and stuff. Sorry, this is very Muslim focused.
No, it's very on both sides. Because also, even if we're talking about Muslim, you're talking about other religions too. Any other culture.
That's the thing.
Every culture has its own kind of abiding values and laws.
So like, for example, I don't drink, but say if I did drink, I wouldn't recommend somebody who says, oh no, but it's okay, God will forgive it. It's more just say it's a sin, I need to work on it, and I'll repair my relationship with God. But denying the sin, if it means something to you, will always creep in and it will cause internal conflict.
I always say that every relationship, I feel like it just depends on your threshold of what you accept. I feel, right? Because every relationship is so different. Sometimes you see people in a relationship, you're like, wow, she's doing that and he's okay with it, and she's doing that, and they're
cool with it.
They're cool with it.
Let them be. Honestly, to each their own. And you'll find somebody in line with your values.
And and even I'm from Jordan, and so even in Jordan, there's been a lot of like interfaith kind of marriages and everything, and I've been very surprised by it. But I realize, if the people are okay with it, and if their families are okay with it, then they have reached their level of like their threshold has been they're okay with it.
That's their deal breakers, and they've decided what their deal breakers are, and they might be different to ours or yours or anything like that. So just figure out what you can deal with. If you come from a religion and it means something to you, figure out what you got to pick your sins.
Pick your sins. Choose your battles. Pick your sins.
Don't deny them. Pick them and work on them in your own way, but don't deny them. I wouldn't say deny them.
Okay. Very good. All right. Last question before we get into a little game. Okay. So
I love a game.
It's a little game. Okay. So last question. What do you think that men and women can be friends?
I talk a lot about this because I happen to have a lot of male friends in my life, and I've always had male friends. Like even since I was a kid, I always struggled with female connections. And so weird, online I've had the same problem.
Yeah,
it's weird. Online I've had the exact. I don't know. You tell me, you're a girl. Why'd you hate me?
I've seen your comments, by the way, and I feel like women are very catty behind the screen.
Yeah,
I don't know what's up with that. I think maybe because it's their own internalized, I guess, resentment for maybe the way they've grown up. Maybe the stuff that you say can trigger them in some way.
Yeah.
So I feel like men are a little bit less emotional.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You get sensitive feminine men that also start crying in the comments. But usually it's women. So I always experience this.
Yeah.
So I felt more safety in male friendships because I've always had problems with females, like even ones I didn't know. And then when being online just exaggerated that so much for me, because I would know the moment, let's say, for example, the crowd is female, I would know what the reaction's going to be. It's going to be negative without fail. But I do get lots of love from women as well.
Yeah.
When they like me, they really like me. But when they hate me, they want to murder me. Yeah. It's like they literally, it's not a case of, oh, she's just annoying. It's like, I want to kill her.
Oh my goodness.
So I understand. I completely understand. And it's something I've embraced, and it's not a problem for me. All praise be to God. It's not a problem for me. So I've always managed male and female friendships. But what I always say is, it depends on the partner you choose. If you've chosen somebody that is a valuable person and is a good communicator and is able to set boundaries, what happens is they're friends with most kinds of people. They'll be friends with different ethnicities, they'll be friends with different age groups, and they'll be friends with different genders because they happen to have, they're multifaceted. Now, if you've chosen somebody who isn't multifaceted and isn't able to have different kind of conversations with different backgrounds, different educations, different ethnicities, and different genders, then they shouldn't be having opposite gender friends because they actually don't bring enough value for those connections for it to turn into a friendship.
Right.
Yeah. So what I would say is, if you've got a girl that isn't very, very intelligent and she isn't really able to adapt in different environments, and yet she has a bunch of male friends,
all of a sudden she has like five male friends.
Of course you should be worried. Of course you should be worried. But and similarly with a guy, like he doesn't really talk to different kind of age groups, doesn't really talk to different ethnicities, doesn't really talk to people with different educational backgrounds, but he's got all these female friends on Instagram that he follows and then likes all the pictures, then you should be worried. You should be very worried. But when you choose a valuable person, two things they do. They respect you in your absence. Whether you're there or not, they have boundaries, they respect you in your absence. And secondly, they have self-control. They don't see every opposite gender person as a form of sexual chemistry.
That's very important.
Yeah, very important. And so the high value people in general, they don't see every opportunity as an opportunity. They say no more than they say yes. So friendships can very much be friendships for them. People with not much value, their identity depends on how many people are giving them attention. So any opposite gender, they sexualize it.
They over-sexualize it.
Yeah, they over-sexualize it in some way, shape or form. So I think it can be friends, but it really just depends on your selection process. Select wisely, and they can be friends with everybody and anybody. But if you select wisely, they will naturally monitor themselves so they're not friends with people there's potential attraction to.
Yeah.
In most
because you know. Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Look, here's the thing. You choose somebody who naturally avoids spending quality time with somebody they know they have a physical attraction to. Whoever you're going to be with throughout your life, they're going to form chemistry with people.
Right.
You choose somebody who recognizes that experience and avoids it because out of respect for you. But if you've chosen somebody who doesn't recognize that and doesn't avoid it, then you have to worry. So it's not so arbitrary. It's more selection based, as I would say, because in this day and age, you're going to work with different people. You're going to, and one of the things I find that, especially with men and women, both of them actually, that struggle with dating and always get ghosted or only have one day, I ask them, do you have any friends of the opposite gender? And they'll say no. And I said, this is the problem you're having.
Really?
Because you don't know how to connect with the opposite gender, even to have a good date. In order to have a good date, to have some charisma, to have not be so nervous, to relax, you need exposure to the opposite gender regularly. So what will happen is you'll go into a date and just feel like it's just a guy, it's just a boy. Like that's all it is. It's just a boy. And you relax a little bit. But when you don't experience much connection with the opposite gender, you bring an intensity to the relationship and you start, really worrying about what their response is. You're not as relaxed.
Right.
So I would say that sometimes having friends of the opposite gender, it helps you build more charisma.
Build charisma, and also just like be free in your actions, be free in the way you talk.
Look, if you go into dates the same way you would with somebody who's the same, if you've got both times gender friends, when you go into the date, you bring the same energy if they're a boy or girl, because you come with that kind of experience. So you can talk about similar things or whatever it is, but if you never speak to a boy and then you go on a date, you're going to be tense.
You're going to be dying inside.
And same with guys who don't have any female friends. They see the girl, they get tense. Whereas men who have grown up with cousins, sisters, female friends, they're like, hi, they've got a really relaxed energy to them.
Yeah.
And it immediately creates some kind of familiarity. So I think it's beneficial. I know that's haram, by the way, because I know I'm going to get lots of people be like, it's haram. I'm aware it's haram.
No. Okay. Yeah, I know, but you know what? I mean, we, like you said, in Dubai, we're all here, like, career-based kind of living and everything. So obviously you're going to make friends and you're going to network. You have to network. But anyway, okay, thanks for that. That's a good one. All right, so let's play a little game. I'm going to call it red flag, green flag.
Okay, lovely.
Okay, this one is kind of obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. Yeah. My significant other likes attractive pictures online.
Red flag, he's a loser.
Okay, my significant other still talks to their ex and says they're good friends and tells me that they have good relationships with their past.
Red flag, because they don't respect your opinion on that. If you, it's not about the ex might be just a friend. It might be nothing there. But if it makes you uncomfortable, your job as a partner is to make your partner feel secure. So you should be able to sacrifice connections, particularly if they had some sexual element, in order to make the relationship more secure.
Okay. Red flag, green flag. Your significant other wants to introduce you to their family in the first month of dating.
I would say it's actually a red flag.
Red flag.
I would, depending on how serious they are. But I would say that we should take a little bit more time to get to know somebody before we place them with our family. If they're rushing that process, that means there's something outside of our connection that's pushing them towards this. And maybe they're not quite basing it on our connection, but where they are in life.
Okay.
And they just want to rush it and put you in there. So I would say it's a little bit of a red flag, because you just don't know in the first month.
Wow. Okay. I didn't think that. I thought you were going to say
that. You think it's a green flag because you think it's going serious. But I would just say, how would you know that person? Because in the first month, you probably haven't even fought yet.
That's true.
Yeah. So wait till you fight and then go into.
Okay. Walking out of an argument to take a breather. Is that a green flag or a red flag?
It's yellow. You just have to explain how long you're going to be, and that you're going to... look, here's the thing. Some people need a break, but you should offer reassurance and say, look, I just need a break. Give me an hour or so, and then we can talk about this. But right now, I just need a break. But the person that just disappears, no, I'm not talking to you, big red flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Signing a prenup, green flag, red flag?
Green flag. In this day and age, we should marry somebody that we know we can divorce amicably rather than just the person we love the most. And we've got to remember, when we do go through tough times, we're not nice people to each other. So a prenup is essential, unfortunately. A big red flag is somebody who doesn't want a prenup, because they're not being realistic, in my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Great. Okay. My significant other won't let me out or is jealous when I go to a boys' night or a girls' night. Red flag, green flag?
Depends on context. Have you done anything that would cause that? But even if you have or haven't, it's a little bit of... I would say yellow. Yellow. It depends on context, and depends on what the
girls' night or boys' night looks like.
But I do always say, look, here's the thing. Whereas as faithful as 50% is our disposition, 50% is our environment. Faithful people take themselves out of tempting environments.
Okay.
It's not a case of you put a faithful person in a strip club and be like, oh, they're so great.
Yeah.
They naturally monitor themselves out of it.
Right.
So what happens with faithful people, it's not that you should trust them blindly. They themselves do it.
We'll tell you.
So they remove themselves from environments that are tempting for this, because they're a monogamous person.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
My significant other flips their phone when we're out. Green flag, red flag.
I'm psycho, so everything is a red flag.
But the thing is, I do that sometimes because I don't want
notifications.
I just don't want I want to be in the conversation. Genuinely, I just don't want to see my phone. But if I see someone doing it, I'd be like, why?
I genuinely think again, it depends on circumstances. But I would think it's better if it's non-intentional what they're doing with their phone.
Okay.
Non-intentional. Their phone isn't a primary like force or distraction. So I think if it's on by accident or it's just a way. But here's the thing with phones: they should be somewhat accessible and available, but you shouldn't go checking. I think so. Your phone should be lying around and this, that, and the other. But you, as a partner on the other side of the boundary, shouldn't be snooping.
Okay.
Yeah, because so it should be a mutual. And the more you make your phone available, the less your partner will snoop. It's when you turn it and when you hide it and when you use it in the bathroom and stuff like that, that's when your partner starts checking. So create a culture around your phone where it's not a source of contention.
Sharing memes with the opposite sex, green flag or red flag?
What are these memes about? Are they normal things? If they're normal things, it's not the end of the world.
That's true.
If it's normal things, it's not the end of the world. If it's restaurants or if it's like food or if it's
funny,
it's not funny. But if it's like sexual stuff, don't do it. Yeah, don't do it.
It's not nice. Okay, wait. Another phone question. You're out on a date or with your husband or your person that you're dating, and they're texting. They're texting a little bit.
Yeah.
Green flag or red flag?
It's a communication flag. You need to express yourself and say, babe, this is quality time. Like, can you put your phone away? If they respond in a way like, oh shit, just 1 second, this email, green flag. If they respond like, oh, here you go again, red flag. So there you go.
Beautiful. All right, amazing. Thank you so much, Sadia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. This was a great conversation.
Yep.
And guys, if you like this video, do like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next episode of UAE Trailblazers.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was awesome.